Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, depending on where you are in the country. My name is Samuel Wong, BD in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I will be your host and presenter today. So this topic is very near and dear to me as a fellow Gen Zer. Technology and social media is something that I grew up with, and about in our previous spring education day, I did a presentation very similar to this topic, and Don reached out to me and said, "Hey, why don't you bring this to our national webinar and talk about how you can leverage technology and social media to bring your practice to the next level, and incorporating how to use LinkedIn, or why you should use LinkedIn to elevate your practice as well." So today we're going to go over a few things, some common challenges over the past couple of years I find that advisors have, and how AI or technology could address these issues. Also, I would be introducing a new terminology that's called SEO, or search engine optimization. For those of you that have heard of SEO or search engine optimization, you might be linking this particular terminology with Google searches. However, in today's day and age, and the ever so changing, evolving technology and social media, you will notice that SEO applies to more than just Google. And in fact, it applies to a lot of our social media platforms as well, including LinkedIn. And at the end of the day, doing all this, using technology and using AI and using social media, at the end of the day, we are hoping to see some end results. We are hoping to have some sales, some businesses closed. And in order for that, most cases start off with a meeting, a prospect meeting, an intro meeting. And the best way to do this or using technology, is to use an AI scheduling tool that would allow you to reduce the amount of time on things that may or may not be revenue generating, and it would reduce your time and allow you to have more time to gain more clients, do things that are revenue generating. Now, with social media or anything related to tech or getting prospects, one of the things we want to make sure we have is content. And I will go through a few different ways and tools that you can easily create content for social media, whether that be your day-to-day Instagram, Facebooks, or your LinkedIn professional social media platforms. Last but not least, how you can build your LinkedIn profile and have a robust profile for you to enhance and grow your business. Now, before I do that, I'm going to bring everyone a trip down to memory lane. I'm hoping everyone online is around the same age or older than I am, so you'd understand these references. If you're a little younger, you might not. Looking at this picture here, this is a computer. This is the type of computer I used to use in the school library when I was going to elementary school. I'm probably letting everyone know how old I am, but that is what I'm used to using. Comparing that from the early 2000s or late 90s to what we have today, everyone has a smartphone in their pocket probably right now. I have two right in front of me. And the processing power and the things you can do on the small little device comparing to what we could have done with these computers back in the 90s or early 2000s, it's a lot different and it's a lot improved. Now, another example I wanted to share is on the left here, a couple months back, my in-laws or my partner's cousins was asking me, why do I have a 3D printed save button? And for those of you that think it is a 3D printed save button, it is not. It is floppy disk. It serves a similar, or if not the same purpose of a USB stick or a SD card, and it stores memories. On the right here, we have a micro SD card. A micro SD card is a tiny little storage unit that is about the size of a fingernail. Now, at the time of creating this presentation, the largest one I can find is 1.5 terabytes. 1.5 terabytes, translating that to bytes, it is about a trillion bytes. I'm getting my numbers mixed up today. So it's about a trillion bytes. Now, comparing that with what I used to use as a kid, a floppy disk, It's about 100,000 bytes or so. Now, the size of a floppy disk, for those of you that don't know, is about the size of a palm, and the size of an SD card is about the size of a fingernail. But it is that many more times of storage from how it used to be to how it is now. Now, you might be thinking, well, why are you talking about things, technology, or these hardware that you could see from the past and you can see now? Now, the reason for that is because I want to show and share that there are different ways to create content. And in the past, if we were to create content, you would either, one of two ways you can do. The first is like this gentleman here on the left, scratching your head, trying to come up with a topic, trying to come up with a draft and create content. Some might be using typewriters, some might be typing it out in Word. This gentleman writing out in old-fashioned pen and paper. Or the second method is you can hire a copywriter. Now, I've done some research. Copywriters in the past are the charges are very, very different. I've seen copywriters that charge by the word. I've seen copywriters that charge by the project or by the page number, and those pricing could vary and could be very high at times, especially when you want to create content and have published content on a regular basis. In today's day and age, as of about a year and a half ago or so, there's something that almost everyone is familiar with now, ChatGPT or AI content generators. These tools could help you create content under 10 minutes and are very, very well established content. Now, there are some tips and tricks I would be going over in the next couple of slides on how to properly use ChatGPT to create content or for your day-to-day living. But the main reason bringing up these comparisons is for you to understand that technology is ever still changing. We would always see changes in technology. And what I'm sharing today might not be relevant in a couple of years' time, or it might not even be relevant in a year's time. But learning to adopt, learning the strategies, the backbones of these technologies and social media platforms would help you grow and grow your practice. Now, going straight into the common challenges, like I mentioned earlier, there are three areas of common challenges that I found that advisors today are facing. So the first type of challenge is prospecting or bring on more people to talk to, bring on more leads. The second method or the second issue, the second challenge is being bogged down with a lot of administrative or paperwork. And in other words, I would say anything that's non-revenue generating. So these challenges and hence it would lead to capacity issues. Now, these challenges are very common amongst a lot of financial advisors or a lot of business owners in general. But there are a lot of AI tools or technology tools that are financially tech related could help you solve these issues. Now, how could they help you solve, or what type of issues they can help you solve? Now, first and foremost, helping you stay top of mind with your clients. A lot of times when we're looking into increasing the amount of sales, increasing the amount of business, one of the best methods is to go back to your book and see what you can do. You can farm and do a little more farming and find out more business from your existing book. Now, using AI, staying top of mind with your clients is very important. Now, planting the seed is approximately the same idea, but giving them more content, giving them more ideas to be exposed to, and more ideas for them to think of things that they would need in their financial plans and reach out to you. Creating leads, ideally, and assisting in administrative work, helping you free up more time. And last but not least, having a social media presence. And by saying having a social media presence, we're also building a brand. So it's not just focusing on one type of social media, but your overall entire brand. Now, before I start jumping into a lot of the fancy tools, if you are taking notes, I highly recommend you to do that right now. Write down what I'm about to say. So for those of you that have never heard of Google Business Page, I encourage you to take your phone out right now and type in restaurants near me on a browser, whether that be Safari or Chrome or whatever browser you have available. What you will see is you'll see a couple of restaurants near you, and you'll see them ranking from first to, from the very first one to however many restaurants are near you. Now, what that is when you click on it, you will see something called a Google Business Page. You would be able to find links to their website, directions, a call and a section for reviews. If it's a restaurant, you'll hopefully find their menu as well. Now, how is this relevant to you? I highly encourage everyone here online, if you are a financial advisor, financial planner, what you want to do is you want to start a Google business page for yourself. You don't have to be incorporated. You don't have to have a business name. For example, if I were a financial advisor, I would start a Google business page called Samuel Insurance Advisor or Insurance Advisor Sam. Whatever sounds good, whatever you like, you can do that. So how do you appear on top? That is a topic that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides. But I highly encourage you to do this. And if you were wondering how you can set this up, you can easily type in Google Business Page on Google or any browser. It would lead you to a site to help you set that up. Or if you take out Google Maps, on the bottom right corner or in the settings, you should be able to find a button called Business. Go through the process. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to start a Google Business page, and it takes about a week or two for them to verify you are who you are, and highly recommend doing that. If you want to chat more about how to set that up, how to properly set that up and make that better, feel free to reach out to me. Again, today's topic is about LinkedIn, so try to find me in LinkedIn. Again, my name is Samuel Wong, business development executive here in Vancouver, BC. Look my name up, find me, connect with me, and if you have any questions on how to set up a Google business page, feel free to let me know. If you do have any questions, please try to use the Q&A box. I have that open and will be monitored here. Wondering if you have any tips on convincing Google that I'm not an online business. Yes, that is actually what we're about to talk about in the next couple of slides. Now, in order to do that, in order to make sure Google knows you are an actual business or you're not just an e-commerce online business, one of the things you want to do is you want to have a very good website. Now, having a good website is very important, but also how to have your website rank on top is very important as well. Now, there are a lot of tips and tricks that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides about search engine optimization. And it would help you and help Google understand and learn your business a little better. Now, in the past, Google SEO is almost exclusively for Google's involving how to optimize or how optimized you are to rank your business or rank your website higher than other websites in a Google search. The reason for this is because the reason why you want to pay attention to this is because there's probably a billion of websites or a lot of advisors in Canada that have websites, and if their website ranks on top of yours, then most likely people would be looking at their websites before yours. In order for them to look at your website, they would have to not like that first advisor's website before they see yours. So how do you make yourself rank on top? There are a few tips and tricks here. Tips and tricks to achieve SEO with Google, especially, is to have content. So with any type of, whether it be website, social media, you want to make sure you have content and regular content. Now, having content on a website, how does that look? That could look like a page for blogs, a page for newsletters, or articles, and other different names you can call it. But you want to have regular content educating your clients, educating the public on certain topics you find interesting. And if you can't think of topics, I do have slides on how you can come up with topics. But before we go into that, here are a few tips and tricks for you to achieve SEO, how you can rank on top, and how to make Google like your website a little more and not think you're just an online business or maybe even a scam. So first of all, content relevance, making sure that you have a great title and great content to support your title, and also having keywords. So for example, if I have a topic about life insurance, I want to make sure I have words that are like life insurance near the front. You want to front load your content with your keywords. So if you never even mentioned the word life insurance in your first paragraph, Google doesn't like that. Now, I am giving Google a personification kind of feel to it, but if you think of Google as a person reviewing your website, that makes this a lot easier to understand. Now, you also want to have multiple appearances of your keywords. So you want your keyword in almost every single paragraph, and you want to make sure your keyword pops up multiple times, enough times to make sure that your content and your viewers know that you're talking about a certain topic. For example, in our example, life insurance. Now, again, if we think of Google as a person to review your content, your website, they like content that have more than 1,800 words. So for an article, for a blog, you want to make sure you're at about, if not at least at 1,800 words. Ideally, you want slightly more than that as well. Well, that's content relevance. Now, you also want LSI keywords. Now, what is LSI keywords? It basically means related keywords. So, for example, if I'm writing a blog about coffee, right? Hopefully everyone likes coffee here, but when you read a blog about coffee or an article about coffee, you want to see words around coffee, like, for example, roasts, beans, espressos, cappuccinos, drip coffee, um, French press, different type of words related to your topic, coffee. Now, you might be thinking, well, I want to talk about life insurance. I don't know what are the LSI keywords for it. What can I do? Now, I promise, I know I'm saying Google a lot of times. Google did not sponsor me. I'm not paid by Google. I am an employee of IDC Worldsource Insurance Network. But if you go to Google and type in LSI keyword generator, you can easily find like a few websites at least that is pretty good at helping you generate keywords related to your topic. So if your topic is life insurance, just type in life insurance and it'll populate a bunch of keywords for you to use. And if you make sure you have those keywords in your content, that would help you achieve a better SEO. Now, linking is very important as well, and this is probably one of the best answers to the previous question. How do you convince Google that you're not an online, just an online business? So internal linking and external linking, there's two type of linkings. Internal linking helps Google understand how your website works. So if you have a website that has a page of about me, and you have a page about contact us, and a page with your content, you want to make sure in these pages, for example, in your content, you want to have a link to contact me, or you might want to have under your team, you want to have a link to your individual about me section. So that's internal linking. It helps Google understand your business. Most likely, if Google doesn't really like your business or your website, chances are they don't understand how your website works and what type of business you are. Now, external linking is probably one of the things that matter a little more out of the two here. Now, external linking basically means someone else is referencing your website. So how do you do that? Well, if you belong to an AGA, the easiest way is to have the AGA reference your content or reference your About Me page. Now, if you're not part of an AGA, what could you do? So the best thing to do is partner up with another advisor. And you don't have to have any business relationship. You just need to know them very well, like them, and reference their content that they wrote really well on a particular topic that you want to share with your audience as well, and vice versa. So if you can, partner up with someone, you each write different content, link each other in those content, that helps Google trust your business, because they think, well, if other websites are referencing to your website, your content, that means there are people that trust your content and they like you a little more because of that. Now, search intent. Search intent is one of the things that you want to be very careful, and it's about the tone and your the message you bring across your website. So if your website across your website, the message you're bringing is financial planning or insurance planning, but you come up with a lot of content about mortgages, or if you add more keywords about loans, mortgages, that might be one of the things that are off-putting. In Google, they think, well, hey, people are searching you for insurance planning. Why is there mortgages? Now, yes, we do understand that in the full financial plan, these two things could go hand in hand. However, in Google's ideas, these two might not be directly related. So you want to make sure you have a very uniform intent or uniform message you're bringing across your website here. Last but not least, reducing bounce rate. So what is bounce rate, or what is a bounce? Bounce basically means when someone clicks onto your website, they click right back out. That would be considered a bounce. The more people do that, the higher the bounce rate. Oh, there is a misconception that people think, well, bounce rate is probably because of content. My content's not good enough. I got to spend more money or spend more time in building better content. In fact, it's actually about your user experience and user interface. And in layman terms or in simple words, what that means is if your website looks like it's from the 80s, you probably need to update your website. And if your website is not clear on how to find certain topics or how to find certain things on your website, you might want to spend a little time in revamping your website, making sure it's easy to navigate. That's the biggest reason of, or the biggest cause of bounce rates or bounces. Now, you might be thinking, well, Sam, now that I know how to create a content or create a website that is liked by Google, but how do I come up with ideas? How do I come up with great content? Now, that's a very good question. And in order to do that, again, Google is your best friend here. Type in the topic you want to talk about. For example, life insurance. You'll find this section called People Also Ask. What this is what people normally Google and try to find an answer to. Now, yes, each of these tabs usually have a little paragraph, but about explaining a certain topic. But these topics are something that's interested or are interesting to a lot of people, and I highly recommend going around using these topics and trying to learn how to or try to talk about how you can solve these issues or answer these questions in your content. Now, you might be thinking, well, hey, there's only 4, 5 topics here on this page here. How could this be sufficient? Especially when you mentioned that consistent is the key. I want to talk about life insurance for 12 months in a row. How do I have enough topics? Well, easy solution to that is if you click on these down arrows, what you'll find is that you'll find the answer to that particular question. But if you close them and do that enough times, you'll see something like this. You have, more than 10 topics to talk about, more than 12 topics to talk about, really reading to related to life insurance. And some of these topics are very good. Some of these aren't very good. There are some topics about can you cash out life insurance, right? You can talk about different ways you can use cash values. Or why do people avoid life insurance? You can discuss why or certain misconceptions about life insurance, or maybe different reasons why people don't like life insurance. And there isn't really too much of a challenge to do this. Whatever topic you have, I mean, just on back of top of my head, I can already think of like 10 topics we can talk about: life insurance, disability insurance, critical illness insurance, RSPs, TFSH, FHSAs, seg funds, different things you can talk about. So you can type these keywords in, find the topic you'd like to talk about, find the message that you want to bring and share to either your clients or your prospects or people that you come across. You can always reference them back to your website. And because of that, we don't need this book. We don't need blogging for dummies. Now, now that we have a topic, what is the next step to create content? Next step to create content, again, we can go back to the old school way, hire a copywriter, or you can also go back to the old school way, pen and paper, and try to come up with a topic, spend a couple hours scratching your head. Or you can use this tool called ChatGPT. Now, what it is, it's very simple. It's just an AI bot that you can talk to and it gives you an answer. But what I did here is I asked ChatGPT to write a blog comparing TFSAs and RSPs using SEO tactics. That takes less than 10 minutes for you to find a blog or find a blog that looks decently well. And you can always ask ChatGPT to rewrite it. However, using ChatGPT is something that I would be very careful about because there are some tips and tricks. There are some things you want to pay attention to when you're using ChatGPT for content creation purposes. Now, there are some things to consider. You want to prompt ChatGPT to create an attractive article. A few keywords, again, if you do take notes, if you like to take notes, here is probably what you want to write down. You want to make sure you prompt ChatGPT to give your article or your blog a hook, peak interest, trends, as well as a call to action. Now, call to action at the end of the day, all of these that we're doing, we're trying to get some business. We're trying to get some clients out of it. And call to action is very important. But how do you make that? How do you have a good call to action that leads to a lead or a prospect meeting? That is something we're going to talk about in the next couple of slides. But again, you want to make sure you have your hook, peak interest, trends, as well as your call to action. Now, would there be any issues using AI to create content? Yes and no. So Google doesn't like AI generated content. So Google could detect and find out that your content that you posted is created by an AI software. Now, what happens then? What could you do? You can use AI to make it less AI. Now, again, this tool here, Undetectable AI, is a great tool for you to use. But because technology is always changing, maybe this tool is not as great of a tool, or there might be a new tool that is better than Undetectable AI in a couple months' time, a couple years' time. So we always want to stay on top of that and make sure our content doesn't seem AI generated for Google. And one thing, again, I want to worry that everyone should pay attention to is that regardless of what content or how easy, how nice ChatGPT or any AI generating tools are, you want to make sure you double check the words, the wording, the information, everything is accurate. The reason for that is because, first of all, you're a licensed individual. You want to make sure the content you generate is relevant and is correct, factually accurate. But also the other thing is because a lot of times I find that when you're asking ChatGPT on a certain topic, what then happens is that ChatGPT would reference some references that aren't relevant to Canada. So you want to make sure that the references or whatever topic you're talking about, ChatGPT is talking about, it is related to the Canadian market. So before I jump into the next topic here, I'm just going to answer some questions here first. Does this differ if you make a website, a landing page versus traditional website? No, it doesn't really differ. So at the end of the day, this SEO tactics, it's all about making sure that your website goes up on the top. All of these things are still relevant, regardless of whether it's a landing page or a traditional website. How did you get that list to display? I'm guessing the question on how did you get that list to display is about the topics. So again, back to the finding an idea. If you go to Google, type in your topic, click the down arrows and close them. Do that enough times for all the people also asked. You're able to see a lot of content or a lot of suggestions on what other people are interested in. Now, at the end of the day, again, we're trying to book meetings out of this, out of everything we do here, or we're trying to get meetings out of everything we do here, and eventually, hopefully, lead to a sale. And the best way or the easiest way to do this online or on a website, whether it be on your website or your social media, is using a tool to help you do that. And the tool I'm sure many of you have heard of is Calendly. It is a very, very nice tool for you to book meetings without you being there. Not like the traditional methods of picking up the phone and asking, hey, would 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. work for you on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays for a quick coffee chat, right? That's traditional way of doing it, and I would say keep doing that if you're used to doing it. But this allows you to easily book more meetings without you picking up the phone. I'm not going to go into detail on how to use Calendly, but there are a few tips and tricks and a few features that I would like to highlight. With Calendly, you're able to connect to your Outlook or Gmail. I think as of now, only Outlook and Gmail are available with Calendly. It could help you customize a link. So you can customize a link and remember your link. So when you're meeting someone and they want to book a meeting with you, you don't have your calendar in front of you. You can just give them the link. Usually it starts with calendly.com/ and then whatever you want. Creating different event types. You can create event types for, in-person meetings. If you like your discovery meetings to be in person, you can set that to be in person. If you like your intro meetings to be phone calls, you can do that. If you want your recommendation meetings to be web meetings, you can also do that. And the great thing about Calendly is it can connect with your web meeting platform, your online meeting platform. And like Zoom, for example, it's able to help you, it's able to connect with your Zoom and send out a link when your clients or your prospects are looking to book a meeting for that particular type of meeting. You can tailor to your preferences. What that means is if you want a certain amount of time between your meetings, you're able to do that as well. And also if you want maybe just in-person meetings on Fridays only or in-person meetings on Wednesdays only, you can do that as well. it would automatically generate a calendar invite to block the calendar of the person that booked the meeting, and also customize reminders. You can set up how frequent or when you want reminders to be sent out. And the best part of this is to add it to your social media or your website. So like I was saying earlier, in your content, you can have an embedded line that is a different color. When people click on it, they can book a meeting with you. Again, you can use this on your LinkedIn and your other social media platforms as well. Um, we are running short on time, so I'm just going to skip these two slides here a bit. And last but not least, regarding the specific tools, the planning process, uh, there are not a whole lot of things that we can do as of now with AI or tech related tools. However, there is one tool that I find very useful. And if you are already following me on LinkedIn, you probably have seen me talk about this tool here called Chat PDF. What it is basically your when you upload a PDF document or a website that has an article or a PDF document, you're able to ask it questions as if there is the author sitting right in front of you, and they're answering everything that's based on that particular article or PDF document. When is it useful? How is it useful in the planning process? If you're coming across a new product that you've never come across, you've never done before, and it's 9 p.m. On a Friday evening, and you can't find anyone to answer your questions, what you can do is you can just upload an advisor guide or a sample contract onto Chat PDF, and you're able to get almost every answer, if not more answers than what your wholesalers might be able to provide, because Chat PDF is able to dig into every single detail for you, and you don't have to have a person sitting in front of you or pick up the phone and call a wholesaler to find the answer. Now, I'm just going to pause here real quick before I go into our next topic of social media. Now, I just remembered I have another tool I want to share. And the reason I want to share this tool is very relevant to social media. Outside of newsletters and websites, where word form content is preferred, in most social media platforms, including LinkedIn itself, as of recently, I believe LinkedIn introduced short videos as well. Short videos is one of the most used or most popular, I would say, type of content that is preferred by a lot of social media platforms, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or LinkedIn. And oftentimes, yes, what you can do is you can put your phone in front of a mount, shine a light to yourself, and start talking. But you might not find that as efficient, especially when you have a topic, you're probably wanting to talk about that topic for a longer time. So one way you can create short form videos, and for those of you that don't like to show your face in front of a camera, this tool would be amazing. There is a tool called InVideo. I've learned this tool about earlier this year or late last year. It's amazing. I created a video within 6 minutes. And all I did here again is I've asked ChatGPT to help me in one paragraph explain why someone should buy disability insurance, include hook peak interest trends in Canada, and call to action. After that, after I get this one paragraph, I put it into InVideo. I click generate a video, and I chose YouTube Shorts as an example. And this is the result. I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm probably going to play about 15 or 10 seconds of it. So you can see that this is probably halfway through the video. It took me 6 minutes to create this whole video. If you're not tech savvy, or I mean, I would say I'm not tech savvy as well, but if you're new to using a lot of these AI tools, I would say it would take no more than 15 minutes to create a video. If you've ever tried to put a video together with a lot of B-roll, with a lot of voice recording your own voice, different things like that, you would know it takes hours and hours. And or my colleague Don Hart would tell you how long it takes to create a video or edit a video. In fact, that's the reason why this recording would not be out until next week. And these short form videos is what the trend is bringing us to now. And I believe that a lot of times we want to follow those trends in order to achieve the optimization or SEO for different platforms. And it seems like most social media platforms are going towards that trend as of now. And one of the platforms that I use a lot personally is Instagram. And I just want to throw a few hints here for Instagram SEO before I jump into LinkedIn. So with Instagram, how do you make sure your profile or you are being seen a little more? You want to make sure you have keywords in both your username and bio. Now, if you want to have a separate Instagram profile for your business, you want to make sure you add in the type of work you do or any keywords. So, for example, if I was an advisor, I would put financial advisor Sam or Sam the financial advisor in my username, or maybe Sam underscore financial underscore advisor. And you want to have these keywords in your bio as well. You want to tell people what you do. You want to tell people the type of work you do, how you help your clients. Now, when you're putting out posts, oftentimes people know to use captions. Facebook's been out for over a decade. I'm sure most of you learned to use captions, but there is something that's relatively new to social media, which is alt text. What it is basically back in days when you're reading a newspaper or a magazine, you see that one liner underneath the photo. That's basically a description of what the photo is. And alt text is one of the things that are helping you boost SEO in Instagram as of last month. Now, you also want to use hashtags. Hashtags that are popular are great. It's great to lead people that are following a certain hashtag to find you, but it's also great to create your own hashtag like a tagline. Back when I was an advisor, a tagline I used to use is "Save with Sam." Uh, just recommending and making sure that people want to save and invest with me. Geotagging, if you're posting about events you're going to or your kid's soccer game, you want to tag those locations. It helps Google it helps Instagram like you a little more. And consistent content. Now, like websites, like newsletters, like LinkedIn, like all the social media platforms, you want to make sure you have consistent content coming out every now and then. But the consistency is not just about how often you put the content out, but also about the tone across different ways of posting. Especially with Instagram, there are multiple ways of coming up with content, whether it be stories, reels, highlights, or posts. You want to make sure you have the consistent tone across all of these different ways of posting. If you're a very happy, funny guy, you want to make sure that tone is the same. If you're very serious, your target market are all professionals, you want to make sure that tone is the same across the board. Collaborating. Oftentimes, I see pages or profiles that do very well on Instagram. It's from collaborating with their center of influences. So if you have a mortgage broker, if you have a realtor, a lawyer, or an accountant, you want to make sure you collaborate with them, talk about certain topics, and post with them together. If you're both at the same event, if you're both at like a networking event, you want to make sure you post together in collaboration instead of doing your own post and optimizing links. Again, like I mentioned earlier, you want to have the ability for people to book meetings. So if you put links to your website, put links to your Calendly site, that would allow you to have more meetings, but also help Instagram like you a little more. Now, for the long-awaited LinkedIn part, before I jump into the LinkedIn part, I'm going to answer a few questions first. How long was my video? My video was about 30 seconds. I'm not familiar with some of the other tools that you mentioned here, Maria, but I would definitely be interested in looking into that. Yes, which I can send you the video or how to create these videos step by step. Jumping into LinkedIn now. For most of you, you joined this session looking at a topic, you probably want to see what you can get out of LinkedIn. And I would actually want to pose that question back to you. Why do you want to use LinkedIn? What are you hoping to achieve out of using LinkedIn? Using LinkedIn, you might be thinking, well, is it for prospecting or is it for building your brand? And I would say the answer is probably yes to both of these. But also, what could LinkedIn do as well? Depending on the stage of business you're in, oftentimes people forget that this is a great way, or the reason why LinkedIn was invented is for employers to find employees and employees to find employers, or for businesses to partner with each other. And depending on what stage you are in, if you're very new in the business, you can find a mentor or you can find someone to work with to guide you through your practice and help you grow. If you're experienced and you're at capacity and you want to work with someone and make sure that let's say for example your focus you want to only focus on life insurance now and you want someone to take care of the investment component for your clients, you can find a partner that way. Or if you're growing a team or you're close to retirement, you want a succession plan, or you want to have bring on more associates to help you take off some load, using LinkedIn would be a great tool as well. Now, on top of that, sharing ideas with your center of influence. I'm sure many of you have at some point joined some networking events. And oftentimes at these networking events, you have about 30 seconds to a minute to share ideas of how these center of influences could refer to you, right? How they can send you their clients and so you can help them out. Now, LinkedIn is a great way to do that. You could always share ideas for your center of influences. Just a great title. They look at that. They say, "Oh, I didn't know you do travel insurance. I have a client that actually is about to fly. Do you need travel? Can you do travel insurance for them?" So you're sparking ideas for your center of influences to refer business to you. Now, also planting the seed with your existing clients. Yes, I know I mentioned that in your website and your newsletters. You should have the idea of planting the seed, giving your existing clients more ideas of what they can do in their full financial plan. Especially if you have these clients that come and ask for, "Hey, I just want to get a small term plan to cover my mortgage." This is a great way to help them think about other topics that they should, or other tools that they should incorporate in their financial plan and other things to consider in their financial plan. And the reason why you want to do this here as well is because if you see a commercial enough times, you'll probably think to go to that person or that business when it comes to time of doing a particular plan. So if your clients see this enough times from you, they'll probably come back to you and say, "Hey, I actually need disability insurance as well." Now, also potentially generating lead. Again, with that Calendly tool, it is very helpful, especially when you have people looking at your content time and time again. They are able to follow and find you and reach out to you and book a meeting with you. Now, having a profile, first impressions last. The first thing people see on your profile is your profile picture. Now, not to start a whole photography lesson here. However, there's a few tips of do's and don'ts that you want to pay attention to. Now, do's, you want to make sure you use a recent photo. If you haven't changed much in the past 5 years, that's fine. But if you're using a picture from, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you might want to update that photo. Using a professional photo, and professional photo is something very, very vague. In my past lives, I have been a photographer before, so I'm just going to give everyone a few tips here. You want to have a good, bright background. The best way to do that, if you can see in my background here, I have a standing light. You can just cut that out of your photo, but have a standing light to make sure your background is bright. Avoid harsh shadows. So I have a little light here. If I have this light too strong, um, actually I can't adjust it right now, but if I have the light too strong, it would cast a lot of harsh shadows. And also you want to make sure you're well lit. So you want to have multiple sources of light on your face. That's just a quick crash course of how to use lighting on photography. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a new photo if your photo is a little dated or if it's not very professional. Now, what is not very professional though? Um, this is something you don't want to do. You don't want to include children and pets. Yes, we know you like your children. We know you like your pet, but it's your profile picture on LinkedIn is not something to show your children and pets. You can put them in posts, you can put them in different platforms, but your profile picture, try to avoid having children and pets. Also, try to avoid cutouts from large group photo. And last but not least, if you look at a photo and you think it belongs to a different social media platform, maybe it doesn't belong to LinkedIn, especially your profile picture. Now, the next thing people would see is your headline or your catchphrase, your headline. So it's the elevator speech of the 2020s. So you want to make sure you have a creative headline. Most of the people, including myself, would have a headline of their title and the company they work for or the company that they own. However, you can be very creative with your catchphrase in how you help your clients. I've heard this many years ago, but an elevator speech of someone in my when I was an advisor has shared was that when they meet someone, they say the type of work that I do, I help clients prevent getting divorces. Number one reason for divorces is finances. There's no stats behind that, but that's a creative way to create a catchphrase. Use something along the lines of if you're a funny guy, if you want to be very creative, you can do that. And you also want to show the business culture and theme. And by that, what I mean is if your clientele is the family market and they're all very happy and they're all, you only exclusively work with happy people, right? You want to make sure you're very joyful in the way you write your catchphrase, right? If your target market is professionals, you want to make sure you avoid anything funny, right? You want to make sure you stay very professional. And you want to focus on the type of work you do for your clients. What is the most common thing you do for your clients? You want to, subtly put that into your headline as well in a one-liner. Now, once you get interest from your connections or people are interested in your profile, next thing they'll do is they'll click in your profile and try to read or find out a little more about you from your bio. So the best thing you can do is, again, be creative, let others have a sneak peek into what you do, how your typical client looks like, what motivates you, and what you like to do. Now, what you like to do doesn't necessarily have to be work related, doesn't have to be business related. What you like to do could be something that you do outside of work that helps your clients, your prospects to get, or your center of influences to get a little more connected with who you are and have resonate with you. And it would automatically have a rally effect. And remember, stay professional. Regardless of how funny you are, you want to still stay professional on your LinkedIn profile. Now, education and experience part, a lot of times there's a very big controversy about whether I should put a lot of my experience and education in it, or should I put like just the ones that are relevant. Now, you want to, I would say you want to add as much as you can. The reason for that is because it would help, again, create that rally effect. It would help people understand and learn from where you're from, where you came from, your background, and connect with you a little better, whether it be your school, any certifications you have, your volunteer experiences, what your beliefs are, and helps people create trust and connect with you again. Before jumping into content creating on LinkedIn, one of the things I wanted to put together is some good LinkedIn habits. So, good LinkedIn habits to have is don't post at random times. I see a lot of people posting on LinkedIn, on Sundays, on Saturdays, at 5 p.m. or at, like early morning 7 a.m. When you think of it, when is it most likely for people to take out their phone or go on a browser and go into LinkedIn and have a scroll? It's usually not weekends. It's usually not past hours. Most of the time, it's around 10 a.m. on a weekday. And ideally, on a Monday, if someone's very busy, they probably won't have time on LinkedIn. On Fridays, they might be getting ready for a vacation or a weekend getaway. So the most ideal time, or I call it the golden hour to post on LinkedIn, is 10 a.m. from Tuesday to Thursday. Okay. So again, I would highly recommend if you're already posting on LinkedIn all the time, you want to make sure you post during these times. It helps a lot in the reach. So how many people you can reach, how many people see your post, it helps a lot if you post at this golden hour. Now, again, like any other tools that I've talked about, you want to make sure you have regular content. So you want to post regularly. And you also want to post timely. Let's say if I want to write a post about the capital gains inclusion rate change, I don't want to post that today. I would have wanted to post that, 2 months ago. I so making sure you post your content timely, making sure that something makes sense as of then. Right now, there's already a million people that talked about that topic, and yours might not be in that much different from any other ones. And also, you want to make sure that when you're timely, you're the first one people get to see yours first, and they learn about it from you, and you gain that trust right away. Also, using hashtags. Here, hashtags don't have as much of a use in getting views, but more so getting that getting your clients used to your post, or getting your prospects viewers used to your post. So using a great tagline, again, the one I used to use when I was an advisor was "Save with Sam." You got to come up with your own, but having a great tagline helps you as well in Google. In LinkedIn. Also, it is highly recommended to share your post on your email list or your newsletters on your website. Share these posts, have a section for your post, whether it be from LinkedIn, whether it be from Instagram, whether it be from Facebook. You want to make sure you share these posts and help you gain some more views as well. And also, last but not least, you want to reshare other people's content. You got to be selective, but you want to also make sure you share people's content and not just focus solely on your own content. And another thing to add a tip here as well is after you post, you want to also make sure you are interactive with people that comment on your post and talk on your post. You want to make sure you're interactive. That helps LinkedIn like you a little more. We're gonna in the next couple of slides, we're gonna talk a bit about LinkedIn SEO as well. Great habits to have for LinkedIn. Now, content creation do's and don'ts. Again, create content regularly. Schedule posts. You want to make sure, again, you want to try your very best to do make posts during the golden hour, Tuesday to Thursday, again from 10 a.m. If your audience is all across Canada, choose one 10 a.m. It could be different time zones. Choose one 10 a.m. Right. Also, you want to schedule posts. So if you come up with an idea, you're writing a post, you finished everything on a Sunday night at midnight. You don't want to post it then, but LinkedIn has a feature where you could click schedule posts. It looks like a clock on the top right corner before publish or before post. And you can choose when you're going to send this or when this is going to be published. So that is a great tool, a great feature on LinkedIn that you should use. And don't emphasize on likes and views. LinkedIn is one of the not weird but unusual social media platforms where likes and views don't really matter as much. What you're getting out of it, again, if you're trying to convince your COIs, your center of influences, that or give them ideas and get them to refer to you, likes and views don't matter. Likes and views is probably one of the least things that you should care about, especially with LinkedIn posts. I know it is very hard, but I tend to care a lot about that as well myself, but it's something that you shouldn't pay too much attention to. And make sure you want to be professional. Don't be unprofessional. Now, how do you create content on LinkedIn? A strong headline is very important. And strong headline, it's not a rocket science. I'm sure many of you who wrote anything in the past probably have heard of these strategies. You can either start with a story, start with a question, start with a poll, having options A, B, and C's, and clickbaits. Clickbaits could sound negative, but clickbait basically could easily mean that you're exaggerating a topic and then going into detail in your body. But using these different tactics to have a strong headline is very important. Also, again, this is probably exclusive to LinkedIn as of now. LinkedIn likes it when you create content and you use emojis. If you don't know what emojis are, please reach out to someone in your office. I'm sure there's someone that would know what emojis are. If you can't find out what emojis are, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Okay, just jumping into a question here. If my information is not related to finance, is it still important to mention it? Yes. So if you're, especially with all these different social media platforms, on LinkedIn as well, you want to, and I will be talking about this as well for the LinkedIn SEO, but you want to create different, types of content. You don't always want to have it to be educational about financial planning, about finance, or about insurance. It could be about something that you celebrate. Let's say you bring on a new associate, take a picture with your associate, put that on LinkedIn, celebrate that, right? If you're volunteering at your kid's soccer game, you want to do that as well. Like I said, sorry, when answering these questions, you want to celebrate an occasion. So if you're hiring someone, if this is your 20th anniversary in this business, if you started your business for, you're incorporated for 3 years or incorporated for 5 years, or you're bringing on someone new, you promoted someone within your company, or you reached the next level, if you reached president's conference, VP conference, for example, celebrate that. Put pictures online, put pictures on LinkedIn, let people know that you've reached a certain milestone. And also you can start a poll. Ask something very controversial, right? Do you prefer to use RSPs or TFSAs? Again, it might not be the best poll, but something that is controversial. And again, try to step outside your industry. It doesn't have to be something. It doesn't have to be something that is business related. It doesn't have to be something that's financial planning related. It could be about your kid's soccer game again. It could be about volunteering at SPCA, for example. So LinkedIn SEO. Now we're getting into the keys here. I know we don't have much time left, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. You want to have a LinkedIn business page, a page that's separate from your own personal profile. And why does it matter? It allows you to have more sections to involve keywords. Again, keywords is one of the theme that goes with a lot of different things for SEO. It allows you to have keywords at different sections, and it prefers long form content. So you want to make sure your content isn't really just a short paragraph. In fact, a lot of content that is viewed a lot have multiple paragraphs about a certain topic or a certain controversy, and you want to make sure you have frequent updates. And again, keywords in your about section. Now, in your about section, there are a few things you want to pay attention to. You want to include a vision. Now, what a vision is what type of future or change do you want to create? The mission is how do you create that future? And the value, who are you? Where do you come from? Why do you want to do this? And positioning is what's your differentiator? How are you different from your competitors? And services, last but not least, you want to make sure you highlight all the different types of services that you provide as well. Now, before I jump into the key takeaway, I'm just going to try to answer a few more questions here as well. Yes. So again, I have a question here in the Q&A asking about impressions posted on Sunday. It was very well. Yes, if you have a great network, a lot of people like you, you have a lot of friends. Your views could be high, your impressions could be high. But again, back to the point I mentioned earlier, with LinkedIn it's one of those unusual situations where impressions don't really matter as much. What you want to do is you want to get as much people to look at it as possible. And Sundays could be good for your market, but most professionals, most people that are either at a 9 to 5 or a business owner, they might be looking at more so like that golden hour. But if your target market, if your center of influence, if your target market, if your clients are more in the I'll look at LinkedIn on Sunday, or if they are, a little crazy and they like to work on Sunday and look at their LinkedIn, it could be great as well. And that golden hour applies to a big group of people, but it might not necessarily apply to everyone. So if you find your niche is that Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon and it works better, make sure you just continue doing that and make sure you're consistent with the times you're posting. But a general rule of thumb, the golden hour, 10 a.m. Tuesday to Thursday works pretty well for a lot of people. Now, last but not least, we have a minute left. I'm just going to go over some key takeaways. Main thing I wanted to bring out, AI and technology is always changing. Technology is always changing. What I'm saying today might not be relevant, in a couple months' time or a couple years' time. So make sure you take care of that. Sorry, make sure you are always up to date and take care of the type of things you say, as well as start a Google business page. Do that right away. It takes 10 minutes. It's not that hard. How to prompt AI content generators, hook, peak interest, trends, and call to action. Last but not least, update your LinkedIn profile. Add the different sections. Have a creative headline. Use a professional photo. And have your about section. Have your bio. Tell people what you like to do outside of work as well. It is the top of the hour. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll stop sharing right now.
Hey,
And
Samuel.
hi, Wendy.
Hey, I thought I'd just pop in to say thank you so very much for such an informative session. Like, as our team, our IDC Win Big team here, we've learned a lot of stuff as well that we can implement, which is amazing. So this has been a really informative session, some good feedback and lots of questions. So thank you so much for doing the presentation today. Just a reminder that it was recorded. It will be on our IDC Win Big website probably sometime next week. And also, this was not CE accredited. So I just wanted to let everyone know that this is not a CE accredited presentation. And we will share the slides. We'll get those from Samuel and we'll convert them to a PDF version. So we will also post those on the IDC Win Big website as well, because lots of people have been asking for that.
Absolutely. And you can always find my contact on the IDC portal under contacts under BC staffs. Again, my name is Samuel Wong, Business Development Executive out here in Vancouver, BC, British Columbia.